Sir, there we go.
I would like
I was
to
working on it.
the community corporation to order. Any public comments? Seeing no public here, I wouldn't think so. So next, minutes from 1/27/25.
I move to approve.
I would second that.
Motion and a second. Is there any further comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? That passes. Quarterly report, Adam.
Yes, included in the packet, and for, update today is the activities that the organization has undertaken this last quarter. We have highlighted a few things, in particular, the upcoming, summit that the, Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation will be, hosting. This is at the Mount Snow on May 12th. We have just about sold out, but I think we've got about 25 slots left. If any members of the board have not yet registered, you can just let me know and we'll get you registered for that. Sarah Waring from NBRC is the keynote speaker. We also have some updates on the 32 Justin Holden Drive. Progress continues on the effort for the environmental work being done on lots 1 and 2. And then we have some action on lot 3 coming up. We have in this summarize some support work that we're doing around the community, including with partnership with Brattleboro Memorial Hospital. Looking forward to a public marketing campaign to promote the good work and importance of the local hospital. We have taken a few moments in this report to review and explain some participation from Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation's involvement in what was known first as 2030, now is being described as named as Next Gen. And so this started from a group of folks who were commenting to John Potter, town manager of Brattleboro, that they weren't seeing economic development. And so, you know, BDCC could take that as an insult, or we can take that as an observation that we agree with. We do, which is that there's never enough aligned efforts to advance the economy. And what we really do know is that even in a room like this with knowledgeable folks, we could give each of us a pen and paper and we would have twice the number of definitions as people in the room as to what economic development is. And so we know that people who run airports will think about economic development as having to do with airports. And if you run a downtown, it's going to be focused on the downtown. And if you're a tourism and marketing, it's going to be on that. So every group is coming with their idea of what economic development is, going to John and saying there's not enough. Of the things I just listed, we do none. And they're right, there's not enough of those things happening. And so, you know, we do this work all the time, and it's just important for us, myself, to remember to have patience and grace that, you know, not everyone has had 15, 20 years of thinking about these things. And as people do go out and learn about this, they're making the right decisions, they're making good prioritizations. And so that work is going to continue to be a little messy. You know, we could easily be self-conscious that it's about us, and I think it's really important that we're not, and that we instead really, you know, lean in and try to help people get there faster. We can't really tell people what we know. You know, some folks are coming with the general curiosity and doing their own research. Others are just coming in without doing that, and that becomes obvious very quickly. And so this will just take some time, I think, to play itself out. They've now landed on the Next Gen is the name, so that's been decided. They'll continue and I say I'm currently a member of the advisory committee. They're really looking towards identifying a stewardship group, which would then go out and raise funds. And that stewardship group would prioritize the funding. who's getting money. I think it'll be really important for us to decide our level of engagement and participation in that group, and what our role is, and do we want that role? So more to come on this, but an important thing that's going to be becoming more and more public, that's in parallel with the work we do. Let's see, real quickly, because I know we're on a tight timeline today. The report summarizes some great work that's been happening in partnership with many folks in the Wyndham Leadership Initiative, so bringing outside speakers in. I think there's been strong engagement with that and a real desire to see more of that, which we will continue. Part of that Wyndham Leadership Series is the CEO Roundtable, and we had a great meeting a couple of weeks ago with strong engagement, representation of about 2,000 employees, really coming around the fact that we need some specific training programs. So more to come on that in the months ahead. And then we, of course, continue to do our business outreach and support programming, working with business leaders and connecting them with state and local resources. I think I will leave it at that unless there's any other questions.
I have one question about the CEO roundtable. I know I've been to both and noticed that there was a small overlap between the two, but new people. What's your expectation in terms of how big the group is going to get, and are you seeing people want to, like, the fact that some of the people that came the first time didn't come the second, was that just a scheduling thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with one exception, every person who's attended says, yes, I want to attend more. And we've had people yet able to attend who have said, keep doing this, keep inviting me as soon as I can make this work that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed both sessions. I think they were really well done.
Great. I have no further comments on my report.
Hearing no questions, maybe I have a question. I was just thinking about the next gen. Is there, I worry a little bit about our partners outside of the community hearing this message that not enough is happening here. So I don't know what to do with that. I'm just saying that I have some caution about the storyline saying, when in fact, there's more happening here than I think any other place in the state of Vermont, at least. And would like that reputation to continue, because we need collaborative and support from other people outside of this region. So maybe it's just a note of caution for John and his fellows to be a little careful that we don't end up undermining other efforts because of the concern that it's not enough.
Talk to speak to this now, or okay. Yeah, so I somehow have found myself on the stewardship committee because I had gone to some of the presentations.
Yeah.
Signed up. So I didn't actually say, that I was on this board. I just, sort of spoke to being someone that's lived here a long time that cares about the community and listened. And so I'm certainly trying to absorb it and connect dots for us so that I think so I can figure out how we can work in tandem or not, or because there is a lot of overlap and it is sort of odd to sit there and hear like we need to do this. I'm like, aren't we? Like this organization is doing a lot of that work. It's interesting that people maybe don't know that or don't understand it, which is like more likely the case. And and I think Adam and I have spoken a few times about how we can be mindful about those conversations and like trying to work so that everything gets moved forward. It's not, there's no reason to sort of impede progress, but also be mindful of how it sort of portrayed.
Do you think there's an opportunity in that group to like show what, like anchor the conversation and what's already happening, what accomplishments have been made?
I think the fear is that all of a sudden that it's like, well, then you guys, and it's like, so I think I'm trying to listen to figure out how either we can be involved and it makes sense to the scope of what this group does or not, but also offer some thoughts. I don't know, it's a strange place to be sitting.
And some of the people that I've talked to, they, their mindsets aren't, there's not a shared understanding and their mindsets aren't aligned. They're sort of like, well, if I don't know that you're doing that, then you're not doing it. So it's sort of like this issue of, well, then how come nobody knows this? How come you're not out there promoting it?
Well,
Like,
I
well,
was gonna say the ad campaign that, that I've been seeing, like in the Reformer, has certainly been a good. I think if you ask people in this town, like, what does the PCC do or who's on, like, nobody would, right? People can't come up with that, but these great, like, human spotlights of
Yeah.
staff here, I think has been a good, I think more of that kind of stuff will help people.
Yeah.
Oh, there's people doing this. This is what this group does. So.
But that's always been our.
Oh,
issue.
yeah, for Chamber of Commerce, same thing. What do you do? How do you explain?
Well, I think even more so with BDCC. It's not, what, a lot of what we do isn't something you would publish,
It's hard to.
so if you're not in tune with it, you don't really know what's going on.
so good lessons, but also there's some, I don't know, feels like there could be some risk or some adverse. We're not careful about it. Yeah, glad to hear that you're participating. Thanks for that effort.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And can I ask a question? On the next gen, on that fundraising, are they going to get real specific about what the purpose of the funds being solicited are going to be used for? Because John Potter asks me to lunch about once a month, and I know there's $1.4 million, but that means nothing, and I think they'll fall flat if they don't have a specific purpose for those funds laid out, and I just hadn't heard that as of my last lunch. And I specifically told John I'm not going to be on one of their committees. They need the next generation to figure out what's going on. I think he's reaching out to some people that have been around and been involved for a long time. But that's why you don't see me. You'll see me at the meetings, but not getting involved other than that. The other thing I would say is I've had a couple of people almost with an attitude talk about, well, what does BDCC do for us? And so I'm just endorsing that. It's they ought to read the director's report
I was
once.
gonna say that would be pretty cool.
Adam, I don't know how I couldn't put that much into a document in 2 months. I don't know how you do it every 2 weeks, but or whatever, how often you do it. But I do think it would be good to have to lay out to whatever the group is, if there's a steering committee or Tracy, what are you on? Are you on the steering committee or are there other committees? I haven't read
No, it's called the Stewardship Committee. And, admittedly, I went to one of the big, presentations and it was like, there was a follow-up email. Are you interested in any of these things? And I, sort of checked a few boxes and found myself at this meeting. Actually joined the group and thought it was interesting. And to answer your question, I think there is a path for the initial funding. I think it's not exactly clear yet, but that there is.
Got to be clear when the rubber meets the road and they make a call.
I think we narrowed it down at our first meeting and I think there will be continued progress on that. I think it's a good group and I think that there's some good things that can happen out of it.
So one of the things, they're making a trip to some places. I can't remember the names of the towns, but I know there was 1 or 2 in Maine. Is anybody going on that?
I'm not. That is a conversation maybe we'll have in our other meeting to dial that in, but we will likely have a representative there.
Right. I know they asked me, the guy who's standing on the sidelines, and I got a conflict and so I can't do it. But at any rate, it's good that the more they can understand what we do, the better, because I think we reach out to all the people that need our services or they find us, but the person on the street that doesn't kind of wonders what we do. And it's frustrating because I know how unbelievably important we are to the community and to the state.
Right. Do we need to, we don't need to do anything. That's just an update, Adam?
Yep.
So if there was anything else, we do have draft resolutions for Community Corp. Do you want to talk about those?
Yes, so as part of the acquisition of 32 Decimal Home Drive, Brattleboro Community Corp has acquired a 3.65 acre parcel. We've discussed that as previously named as Lot 3. per the original agreement, upon receipt of the letter of environmental exemption from Secretary Curley and Secretary Moore, we would transfer the property. That was received, and therefore we are obligated to move that forward. So with that, we have been recommended from council to just have an updated resolution that represents that this board has approved those documents in the past and those activities, that the board was aware of all of that and is with this resolution codifying that awareness and support. Bob asked me to look at removing a couple of the clauses in the resolution. So Bob, you have both in front of you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I have a shorter version, at least, just the first two, I think. What's left on this, yeah. I was reading it last night. It's like, wait a minute, any and all future decisions we made anyway? I thought it was a little overly broad, and Adam agreed. And Petrusek, I think you agreed anyway.
I agreed that it was very broad.
Yeah, it was a little overly broad. So anyway, the recommendation for the resolution, what I had, I don't know if everybody's looking at the same thing. So there's.
In the packet is the full one,
Yeah.
in this piece of paper is just the two.
Handout is the first two, which is approving the, which we've already agreed to the agreement. So it's referencing the agreement for purchase and sale specifically for lot 3. And it is, the resolution is validating or the agreements that Adam entered into to affect that purchase and sale, which is the second one.
I move that we adopt the resolution as amended.
So
Okay.
yeah, we have a motion and a second. Yeah, the first two paragraphs. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Is there any other sort of information to come before the community court meeting this morning? Hearing no other business, I would like to close that meeting.